We are so honored to have you speak to the youth through CYC. First, would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Bishop Kyrillos. I'm Auxiliary Bishop in the Diocese of Los Angeles.
Okay. So, we would like to learn a little bit more about your upbringing, like where you were born, how you were raised, college life.
I was born in Los Angeles, actually in Hollywood. I don't know what that means, but around the same time, we say, as the start of the church in America, and we're able to see the church growing in its first few years. So to give you an idea, the first time there was a youth meeting was around the same time that we were youth, and the same for the Coptic clubs or the organizations on the campuses. It was around the same time that we were in college, and etc. Young professionals, the same thing. So it was always a very interesting and active time for us. There was also a lot of new things that continually needed to be. So we had the benefit of always being on something new and different. We didn't always have the ability of having a previous service that we would just continue on. So it's something always new, I guess. You find always what the apostles had in the early years of the church, that the church was growing in number, every day and growth, but they didn't necessarily have a group that came before them in that area. Of course, the church is always from generation to generation, but in a new area, new land, it's always unique and different and growing. So in college life, it was like establishing before all of these churches were established. It was a small community. And so on our campus, there was like 3 or 4, which we were trying to gather and trying to work on at having a club. And one of the main reasons why we were insistent on having a club is so that there is identity, there's work and prayer and growth and support of, because college can be a difficult and lonely place where people can easily scatter, whether it's a lack of community or lack of knowledge or lack of belonging that they face. And there's also a mission and outreach that they would have. So I think we were always so busy in studying that we didn't have time for anything else. Like St. Basil and Gregory were saying, we only knew 2 roads, the road that goes to the church and the road that goes to the school. And they didn't really have much time in between there for other things. That's not to say they were there, they were, but that's why we're trying to work, I think, with the organizations to kind of build it so there are less distractions as possible.
Yeah. Could you speak to us a little bit about your monastic life, your life in the monastery, or what led you to it?
Well, for me, I think since we were young, the same thing, I would say the monastery in Los Angeles was about the same age as us, so it was newly established. I remember when His Grace Bishop Kyrillos of blessed memory had first come to the monastery, and it was something relatively new for us. We would always visit Egypt in the monasteries later on, but it was something that we loved and appreciated from a young age. I think, again, there was such a great demand for service that we were, I think, busy with the service in the time when, if we had our, I guess, free choice, we would have left to the monastery. But for me, it came relatively recently, the monastic life, because we were, dedicated more for the service.
Right. So, Sayana, it is difficult to live a righteous life in a land of immigration as a youth, let alone be among then a bishop. Could you shed some light on some of the main reasons that kept you in track?
I think God's grace is very great. And if it not for that, of course, if someone were to look at the waves and all the difficulties in life, it'd be hard to have hope to be able to walk on water, let alone to just stay in the boat. But God gives us, more than we ask, more than we understand, and truly, like, if someone were to plot it out, and like with all the pressures in life, that it is difficult. But at the same time, in every generation, there are struggles, and every generation of college students, has their challenges, and there are. I think this is such a unique time in college to discover yourself and to discover how God works in a powerful and in a personal way, and that produces much fruit. And this is why one of the Christian groups was founded. Father Peter Gilchrist, who started the Campus Crusade for Christ when he was in the Protestant church, and he would always say that the key to Christianity or religion in America is really based in the college campuses. And so that's why they focused all their efforts on campus. And then he would also say that the future of the Orthodox Church in America and its growth in America is also on the college campuses. So when we were working in the campus groups, the Coptic organizations, there was always, I guess, in our mind right before us that this is an obligation for us as being on this campus, how to be, salt of the earth and light to the world on this campus before us, how that anyone who is searching would know, because many, if not all of the college students are searching for some purpose, meaning, answers. That's part of the reason why they are there. And religion has a clear part, even though it's not really in the curriculum. So if we don't do it, chances are there's going to be a lot of other voices, but I think we have that obligation to witness to Christ, to those who have ears.
So Sayana, what is your vision or goals that you would like to achieve with God's grace as a bishop?
I'm still working on the first year for me, but I think one of my main responsibilities is for Christian education. And as mentioned in the scripture, my people perish for lack of knowledge. And in this day and age where you have the information age and access to all types of information, that there's so much that we have to do at all ages, whether it's from infancy to before pregnancy, prenatal care, to the education on campus, in establishing preschools and junior high schools, and so that our work is at every level. But my main focus is in St. Athanasius and St. Cyril Theological School that we have, which is main work is to try to reach the theological education, to serve the priests, consecrated servants, the servants, priest-servants, in a way that we have been hoping to have for many years. And the School of Alexandria has always been the pride of the Coptic Church. And no matter how many schools or professors or courses that we have, I don't think it will be enough to fill the need for our people and also for those who are searching. We counted over 92 schools just in California, theological schools for religious education. But if you look at when we found what is available in patristics or to understand about the liturgy or the history of the church, or even someone just wants to know about the Bible in an in-depth way, a lot of things are missing, and we have a big part of our mission, part of our purpose is, I think, to fill that need. And many people have come to the church and come to the knowledge of truth, not just through us, but through many schools like that. And at the same time, we found many schools that were established, like just in this country. Some of the top universities that exist today were established as seminaries, as theological schools. And one of them, John Harvard, was a seminary. It was very conservative. And when it got too liberal, then they opened up one in Connecticut to say that, we will be the conservative school that will, defend the faith and the doctrine and the teachings of the church. And then now, I mean, the situation is a little bit different. So I think that's the environment that makes our work, at least part of my job, so I see so important.
Sayana, can you give your sons and daughters some advice on how to conduct their lives, both in and out of the time of worship?
Well, we say that the liturgy, as holy and blessed and divine that it is, that we enter and we climb the mountain and we meet God face to face to partake of His holy body and precious blood. And then we leave like Moses with a mission and a purpose, so that we, with our faces bright and the commandments still clenched in our hands, in order to go and serve and to provide that light to anyone who is in darkness. And so part of our worship, or the fulfillment of our worship, is really spreading that light and that joy to those who don't have it. And when I realize that, I find in that the great gift of because that's why the liturgy can't be, celebrated by one, but that it is really the work of the people. And when we worship, we feel like we always say, when someone comes to the church and they're in the baptism, come to be baptized, and they accept and they say, I believe. And they come just a few steps closer, they say, we believe. And this is the work of the church of community, to that we have our Lord in our midst, and that we continue to grow together in knowledge and in truth. We partake of His, but also how to continue. So in many ways, whether it's reading the Igbeya, whether it's the midnight praises, which our youth love so much, but that it's always, His name is always on our minds and always on our hearts. And I don't know if there's an easy way to convey that. It just becomes for us, or it is our life, not just a part of our life.
Thank you so much, Sayana. We hope that you agree to be on CUIC more often. It would be such a great blessing.
It'd be my
Thank you
pleasure.
so much, and keep us in your prayers.
God bless.